All right, y'all. So we got to bring Juelz Santana to the front of the congregation. Now, if any of y'all that don't know, this man had the unmitigated temerity to get on the internet, and say the kids don't need to know how to read. And I know some people might be saying, well, he didn't mean it. Oh, no, he meant it that way. In fact, he said, you know what? Not only do you not know how to read, you can just listen to an audiobook. All right, there's a lot going on here. And this, this is one of my issues with these stars, because people will say, oh, well, they're not role models, this and that and the other. Well, they get online and they get in front of cameras and talk like they are. The fact of the matter is this: people take them serious. Young people take them serious. Why else would they get on here and be like, oh, I set trends and I do this and people do this and that because of me? No, it can't go just one way, and especially kids can't always be the negative. To get online and say kids don't know how to read, especially as a black man, bro, it's a sin. Seriously, we're not about to just skip over this. Let's go ahead. We're going to listen to the clip and we're going to go from there, man. But this is crazy.
And I think that shit going to take over.
Nah, but seriously though, G shit though, we got to start teaching our kids though, just financial wealth and literacy and all that shit early, because by the time they get to 9th grade, they should be just learning how to start businesses. And
now up to that point, and he's about to say these kids can't read, but to that point, if you're listening, you're rocking with him, right? Yeah, we do need to. Our kids need to know financial literacy, so on and so forth. We starting off on the right path.
And how to, but these kids can't read. And how to, but they don't really need to know how to read.
Come on now, dog.
Wait, stop.
There's just a level of common sense, you can call it wisdom, call it whatever you want, that you would expect people to have, especially older. He's older. Juelz ain't young. To sit on here and say with a straight face, especially after saying that they need to learn financial literacy, that they don't need to know how to read. It's just so asinine. I don't even know what to say. And no matter what, it's a person who people look up to. Young people. Yes, some young people still look up to him. It's just the fact of the matter. And you want to know something else? He wouldn't be saying this if he wasn't around people that thought like him. I'm pretty sure he's had this conversation with other dumbass niggas who would think some dumb shit like this. All right. If you're a young person and you watching this video, man, keep watching. Number one. Number two, don't listen to what this fool said.
I ain't gonna say that.
All right. Then we got the guy with the man bonnet clapping. Look at this. You got the man bonnet guy clapping. What are you clapping for? What did he say that's worth clapping?
I say that respectfully. I'm not saying that in a way to be literate, because you're not supposed to be illiterate.
Hold up. He said, I'm saying that respectfully. I'm not saying that in a way to be literate, because you're not supposed to be literate. And look, you can't even blame this. Some people talk about the new generation. He ain't the new generation, fam. He ain't the new generation. He ain't the new generation. You can tell he doesn't value education. Let's just put it that way.
But you can.
What's more important, reading or math?
And you got this guy over here with the man bonnet talking about, I told you. Kids, please don't listen to these guys. Please. Reading is fundamental. That's not just a saying.
Math. Told you. Math. I think you could listen to a book on YouTube. You can still obtain the information. You could listen. Told you. Math. I think you could get
Now he says math. But how are you going to do math if you can't read? Does he not know? Does he not know? Well, first you need to know that you got some people who have problems just reading numbers, but there's a such thing as word problems. What are you going to do when you have word problems if you can't read and you can't comprehend and you don't understand the meaning of words? What are you going to do when you have a test and there are word problems on the test? You can't use an audio book. There's no audio versions when you have to do tests and things like that. Man, bro, these guys are fried, man. Fried, dude. This is probably why he's probably like, I think ain't he doing the worst out of all the Dipset guys at this point?
You can listen to a book on YouTube. You can still obtain the information. You don't have to know how to read. That's not reading and understanding. I believe common sense is better than everything.
Well, goddamn, bro, you missing it. You missing it. He believe common sense is better, but where's your common sense at? Your common sense ain't telling you, man, this whole line of reasoning is faulty. Then you're gonna go to the one thing that you really need reading comprehension skills and say math.
I'm a common sense nigga.
Stop the cap.
No, you ain't.
I'd rather have
Stop the cap. You ain't no common sense, nothing, man. You really ain't. You really ain't.
zero book smarts and common sense, be able to read the room, be able to read life, be able to read people. I try to understand people, understand, you know what I'm saying? Like nowadays you can listen to a book. I just listen to the 48 laws of power, not to
It ain't about just listening to a book, fam. It ain't about what if that kid is lost somewhere and there's nothing but signs that they have to read. What if that happens? Like there's just way too many examples that we can give right now. And I want y'all to share some down below of situations where it's more about it's more than an audio book. Where if they can, what about contracts? This is why dudes like him get screwed over. Okay, you want somebody to read it to you, huh? Yeah, okay. Good luck with that. You're going to trust somebody else to tell you what's in something that affects your life. Yeah, good luck with that one.
You got to read your contract, Els.
You don't have to
listen to that too. They got apps you could put it in.
This nigga say you don't have to understand it.
Nowadays you can listen to a book. I just listen to the 48 laws of power, not to
you got to read your contract, Els.
You don't have to understand it.
You can listen to that too. They got
this nigga say you don't have to understand it though. Hey, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I can't believe that this is happening right now. I can't believe that this is a real conversation. Oh man, wow. This fool just said you don't have to understand it. You don't have to understand a contract.
They got apps you could put it in and it'll read it to you. Are you crazy?
So instead of learning how to read, you're going to depend on an app to tell you what a contract says.
Huh?
You know, I've been like on the fence as far as this dumbing down of America thing and people really having an agenda to do this. But now lately I've been kind of moving more towards the side of that. Because why do we keep getting things like this happening? Where people like him who have platforms, who have a voice, unfortunately, coming out and saying this. These are the types of things that make it harder for our people and especially for our youth.
It probably will. AI will now. That's what I'm saying. That's how freaky it is.
You don't have to read. Shit could be told to you.
You don't have to read. Shit could be told to you. I'm laughing, y'all, but this ain't funny. This really ain't funny. I just can't believe they saying it. He literally said you don't have to read. Shit could be told to you. Guys, gals, please, I implore you, learn how to read. And more than that, learn how to comprehend. Don't be like them. Don't be like them. Okay? And even if you look at them as being successful, which I can make an argument that that's not the case, you don't want that type of success where everything is dependent on what somebody else is telling you. This fool said you don't have to understand your contract. Wow.
So I'm not saying that in a bad way, like you don't need to know how to read.
At a restaurant.
Floyd Mayweather don't read that shit.
You at a restaurant. Like it's mad shit you gotta read.
You saying that, you just gotta know what you like.
How you gonna read the road sign? So what? You go on a road trip, you just gonna have somebody else drive you? You gonna have them tell you the way to go? I guess you could, but is that really how you want to live? Where you always got to depend on somebody else telling you what something? You know how fucking ignorant that is? You know how fucking ignorant that is? How dumb these niggas sound right now?
I know what I want.
You ain't gotta read the restaurant. You can just say, "What is this? A steak joint? I want steak, nigga. I want what y'all."
This nigga.
Steak come with what y'all got? When the waiter come,
reading way more important.
When the waiter come, you be like, "What come with?"
Somebody said the fentanyl talking. Ignorant ass niggas. If you can't read, you can't comprehend math or anything else, even if you're listening to it. Ain't that the truth, brother?
Ladies and gentlemen, anybody want to tell me just what in the reading this fundamental type of foolishness is going on here? Our beloved brother, Juelz Santana, the youngest member of the Dipset, aka the Diplomats, got on a podcast not too long ago and said that people don't need to know how to read, they just need to know how to, start businesses and whatnot. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. I understand that investing in your own equity is important. Yes, it is. But y'all need to understand that reading, knowing how to understand words that are on paper, knowing how to be literate and write and express yourself in a business setting or any other setting for that matter is important. Man, somebody mess around and make you sell your grandmama because they put it on paper and you didn't know how to read it.
Right.
In business, business is more words than numbers. Understanding numbers is one thing, but hell, anytime you doing any kind of business, if you don't know how to read, how the hell would you even know if something is for sale? Stop sign got letters. Everything got words. Why?
I mean, just think about it. Yeah, social media is full of reels and short clips, things like that. And we don't think about it much because most of us can read, at least to some extent. But think of all the things that you encounter in a day that requires you to read, and not only read, but comprehend. And you're going to go through your life just guessing or using, depending on your instincts. Yeah, good luck with that, man.
Why? I'm trying not to get upset. Why is everybody always trying to downplay education? You just say you don't even know how to read. They need to be teaching kids how to start business, but you can't do business if you don't know how to read.
Yeah, and then somebody said he must be an expert at Pictionary. Let's go to another one.
This is what I'm saying. Like, this is why I say education is so important. You got people like Juelz Santana who's coming on the internet to tell us that we got to be teaching our kids from the 9th grade about financial literacy, but they don't need to know how to read. Are you stupid or what? The foundation of anything is reading. Even the foundation of math is reading. The foundation of financial literacy is going to be reading. Because how do you read any financial documents? How are you able to know? How are you able to read math problems? How are you able to read contracts, mortgages? You want to get a promissory note, like all these things you have to read them. You have to read them. Even your receipt that you go get at the grocery store, you should be able to read that receipt, because you got to know what the return policy is. You got to know what your rights are. You have to read. Like, this is the thing that bothers me, because you have people like Juelz Santana who come on here on the internet who obviously he has the ears of some people, a lot more than I do. And he is spreading, especially in the Black community, and pushing the most diabolical message you could push, which is they don't need to know how to read. And then
which is ignorance. Ignorance is cool. That's dangerous. That's what I'm saying. And so, in a sense, this is just as bad, if not worse, than a drug dealer, is it not? If you want to push this message that ignorance is cool. It's okay to be ignorant. It's okay to be illiterate. We already struggle with these things in our communities. And this will be the same guy that'll hop on here for some other reason, talking about what Black people don't get and why Black people struggle and on and on and on, right? But you're pushing for Black people, especially young Black people, to not only be okay with and accept, but to, in a way, celebrate ignorance. No, dudes like this, man, they dudes like this need to be called out, bro. Hopefully this will be talked about too by some of the bigger platforms, and they'll give it the proper amount of not only time but discourse.
You wonder why your child is in the 11th grade reading at a 3rd grade level. Because you got people like him that's saying, oh, they don't need to know how to read. And guess what? There are people who are going to run with it. I don't get it. Like, Black people, they not only take education lightly, they don't respect education. They don't respect it. They don't respect education. We having this conversation about Mike Epps saying that we shouldn't congratulate men coming from prison. We should stop throwing parties for them. We should stop doing it. Rightfully so. And there are people who are commenting and saying they're like, yo, I graduated with my master's degree. I graduated college. I, did this and I had this accomplished, had this. No one ever congratulated me. But we want to sit here and congratulate somebody who just came from jail. Like, I don't get it. The Black community.
Yeah, no, it's in some ways it's definitely a little twisted, man. Now look, I just did a quick chat GPT thing where asking about the benefits and or effects, benefits of being literate and or effects of being illiterate, just to summarize, right? Now, let's just see what chat GPT says about this, especially when it comes to young people. All right, so it says reading in childhood builds language, attention, reasoning, empathy, school success, and better health, economic outcomes later in life. Kids who don't learn to read are far more likely to struggle in school and face worse health, employment, and social outcomes as adults. Okay, what does reading do for kids? Grows vocabulary and language processing. Regular book reading and parent-child book interactions predict stronger receptive vocabulary and later reading comprehension. Good for explaining words and ideas kids won't get from casual conversation alone. Builds the brain circuitry for fluent reading. Neuroimaging and cognitive research show learning to read changes brain networks, phonics, letter sounding mapping, word recognition, making reading an acquired skill tied to specific neural development. This is what he's advocating against right here. Also improves attention, memory, and executive skills. Shared reading and narrative practice helps kids learn to hold information in mind, follow sequences, and practice control, skills used across subjects. Also strengthens social cognition and empathy. Reading, especially literary fiction and sustained narrative exposure, improves theory of mind and ability to understand other people's perspective. All right, now, how illiteracy or poor reading skills tend to affect young people, evidence-based impact, right? Based on the evidence. Academic cascade. Kids who are not reading at grade level by about 3rd grade are much more likely to struggle later. Early reading predicts later achievement in school outcomes. Lower health literacy and worse health outcomes. Low literacy is associated with poorer health behaviors and worse health outcomes later. Difficulty following medical instructions, higher hospitalizations, etc. Economic and civil costs. Low literacy correlates with lower employment prospects, lower lifetime earnings, higher welfare dependence, and reduced civic participation. International agencies treat literacy as foundational to reducing poverty. Social costs. Literacy gaps are linked to higher rates of crime and social isolation in population level analysis. Societies with low literacy face broader social costs. And this is the thing. You see, Juelz is speaking from the point whatever percent of people, Black people, especially ignorant Black people who actually made it somehow and became rich. And so because he got some money, he don't think that these things are important, or he think that this is something that can be obtainable by everyone or by every Black kid. They don't not know how to read. They don't have to know this and that to be successful, when that's not the case. That's really not the case. All right, so that's just a few things we pointed out, right? Just some summary things. Research showing that early parent-child reading predicts better vocabulary and reading comprehension later. Neuroscience finds learning to read changes brain networks. Reading is a learned skill, not something born doing. Low literacy is tied to worse health outcomes, higher social costs. It's not just school grades. It affects your whole life, on and on and on, right? And it's crazy that we got to sit here and explain this, because not a young person who don't maybe not know any better or might think it's cool. An older person And again, Juelz is one of the few percent that actually made it and didn't have to, I guess, put an emphasis on education. That's not the case for most people in America, let alone Black people. So to act like there shouldn't be an importance based on education and literacy in particular, right? Being able to read, comprehend, understand, figure things out based on what you read. He's talking about math. My brother, math is full of word problems. If you go this far and this happens and it took this long, then what is the, okay, good luck, man, trying to pass a test. No, man. Even though there's a lot of things that help make things more convenient for us, that help make things easier, whether it's audiobooks, so on and so forth, that should not be the foundation of your child's learning. Okay. And like I pointed out, your brain needs being able to read does a lot of things to your brain that if you don't do that, it affects you cognitively. It affects your ability to understand. It affects your ability to reason. Don't mean you still can't function in life, but there's just people going to be able to tell you a little, ignorant. For real. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. And that's most of the time. All right. Step aside from the fact that you just might get taken advantage of when people realize that you can't read. But this is nonsense, man. This is nonsense. And it seems like it's always coming out of our own people. We talk about Black fatigue and the racism thing, but what you gonna do when you gotta deal with people like this? Anyway, man, y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.